make a video right now. In actuality, I'm still working on a video from yesterday that's eventually going up on my Patreon. It's just taken a while to, in the editing process, I got a few things that I want to change around, and I'm trying to work on openings for some of my pre-tape videos. So that's also a thing, which means I got to dust off my old iMac, which is pretty ancient by now, and kind of work on that type of thing. So I'm not sure if anybody's going to come in because this is really off the cuff and really, I guess, a quicker video than I usually do. What kind of accent is that? I don't know. But why not? I wanted to talk about something that's truly gets to me a bit. Something that I can honestly say I that as a collector, as a movie fan, as a comic fan, that really bothers me. And there we go. So get my hand there for a second. I saw a post today that truly got on my nerves. It really hit me home. So for those that don't know, aside from collecting movies, which you see on this channel all the time, I collect books, comic books, omnibuses. So this is Brave and the Bold with volume 1. A lot of work in here by Bob Haney. If you have yet to see my my video on Bob Haney, what the hell? It's one of the videos I worked on the hardest. So watch that damn video, please. Anyway, I was going on my normal going on my normal pages, and I'm preparing to hopefully order a couple books today. Now there's been a sale going on that's been here in Canada, but it goes pretty quickly. Things are going super quick, and for me, I only get stuff that I like. I don't pick anything randomly, and I especially when it comes to these things can be fairly expensive even when they're when they're cheaper. So I always try to go out and grab the very I guess the best word for this is the best deal, something I want to read and something that I'll eventually be able to make a video on for my call to comics later on. So the Fantastic Four omnibus came up. Actually 3 of them did. And I thought, okay, this is, for lack of a better word, fantastic. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be able to talk. I'll be able to read through the classic run on Fantastic Four, a large portion of it. And it went out of stock. It went out of stock. So well, that's fine. People that wanted to get the book got the book. Except this happened. My Anonymous page had somebody that posted their much you do if you've seen the Vinegar Syndrome page or in the Severn page, they'll post what they got, that type of thing. They do their I guess the flex, what they call it. So he posted, look, I just bought the Fantastic Four Omnibus volumes 2 and 4. I don't like the Fantastic Four, but it was such a good price, I couldn't resist. And that is where this video comes in. What in the blue hell does that mean exactly? You don't like something, but you bought it just because the price was okay? So you've literally taken something from somebody else that liked it and could have potentially bought it just so you can have something on your shelf that you're not going to read, or in a movie scenario, not going to ever watch. That makes zero sense to me. Hey there, before Alan and Dave, welcome in. Didn't see that message there. It came at the bottom. That makes zero sense to me. Zero freaking sense. And it upsets me because as a collector, and it's like you guys out there too, you have things that you love, and the last thing you want to see are what we've already got to worry about, scalpers, putting things out there and buying multiple copies of things and trying to sell them for exorbitant prices. There was the guy that bought Thriller and went on and sold it on eBay for $200. I hope that does not go through, and that the person realizes that there will be extra copies of Thriller, the box set out there, because I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that at all. Now we have to worry about people literally buying things just because it's cheap that they don't like, just to pad out their collection. And I take serious offense to that. See, I blind buy, but I'll only blind buy stuff that I pretty much, I'm sure it's my style. And if it's not my style, then okay, I'm gonna blind buy this movie, but I know that somebody that I know is gonna like this. And so nothing in my collection is ever in my collection to fill up space. I've got a large collection of movies, and I got a fairly decent collection of books, graphic novels, and stuff. None of them are just because. I think that's sad, actually. If somebody has a bunch of movies there that they're never going to watch, that they don't like, just because it looks impressive on the shelf, because it's from a certain company, or you got it extremely cheap. I'm not down with that, and I'm calling that out right now as a collector, because like, one, I probably should have done it before. Two, it kind of, it just happened to me. So that has pissed me off, and I wanted your guys' opinions on this. How do you feel about people that go out and buy things like one, we don't like scalpers. That's the thing. No collector like legitimately likes scalpers, and and totally and agrees with it. Like, very, very rarely. But how do you feel about people like going out and buying things? And because this wasn't a blind buy, this was a guy that knew he did not like something, that literally knew he did not like the thing that he bought. So it wasn't like, oh, I've never read this before. No, he'd read before, but he didn't like it. And yet he bought it anyway when there was a limited amount, just so he could put it on his shelf and just have it there. That's like me going out and buying a whole bunch of Cat 3 or Cardona movies that I don't want, just because I want to have like a Cat 3 section or a Cardona section on my shelf. And okay, I don't like this one, but I'll put it in the shelf anyway. Yeah, I don't do that. I have some pretty crappy taste when it comes to films and stuff like that. And I will own that. I'll be the very first person to say that. Like, out and out, say it right out. I have weird taste in movies. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. There you go. Quote Riverdale all day long. But but I'm not down with like if I like a movie, for instance, and I can get it for a decent price, yes, I will. I have like a couple copies of certain films, never to sell. Uh, hey, what's that for the Vinegar Sim subscribers here? That is a good question, actually. I tell you what, it's almost over, man. So you won't have to like put up with that forever, because I related originally to the Jughead character. That's why, in the first couple seasons of the show, before superpowers came into it. Um, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, but it's okay if you are down with, if you love, like the stuff that's being put out by a company. If you're a big Severin fan or a big Vinegar Syndrome fan, and you know that every month that you're, bam, that's it. That's what you want. That's your jam. Go for it, man. Oh, like, go in. I'm okay with that. That is fantastic. If you are buying something just for name alone, or just like, I don't really like that movie, but I'll buy it because it was put out by a company, or it's on sale right now, so I guess I can buy some extra ones. Vinegar Syndrome is a good example. So that was a really good thing to mention there, Dave, because Vinegar Syndrome is another one where their copies are limited, and some people go in and they'll buy on good faith. They'll blind buy on good faith, which I don't, which is a different thing altogether. You're blind buying on good faith because it's a company that you like, and consistently they put out things that you like. And maybe once in a while you get hit with something that you don't. Oh, that's okay. You can, you pass it on, whatever. But to like just legit go out and buy something just because it's got a name on it, or just because it's limited and it's on sale, truly bothers me. Imprint. Oh, I wish I could get imprint. I am hoping, but for that, like, if I get to move to Morocco eventually, that we're, where it's going to be closer to England, that's where I can do some of my shopping at, and should be able to hopefully get imprint titles at their HMV or FOP. I'm kind of hoping that they'll be there, because they got a lot of really good stuff out there, stuff that I don't normally. Hot takes is normally supposed to be like kind of a Tuesday show, but yeah, yesterday I did what I thought was a really good video, kind of a very laid back look at things and a conversation with Michael Keane, and it was our first time collaborating, long time like talking off of here, right, like just chatting, messages back and forth on Twitter and stuff like that. Hope to have him on again in the future. And it's okay if they like everyone. I'm a completionist, right? Like, I have every Friday the 13th film in my collection. But I fairly much like every Friday the 13th film. I have every like Halloween film in my collection, and I bought a set. So the Rob Zombie ones kind of came with it. I didn't go out and buy like limited edition versions of Rob Zombie films that I didn't like, and stop somebody that actually likes them, because Rob Zombie has a significant fan base, especially for those films. And although they may not be my thing, that's okay. Like that's somebody else's. So if tomorrow, if Screen Factory came with a 4K edition of Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2, I'm not going to buy it unless, there had to be some specially amazing documentaries on it. I would buy for a documentary because it's something that I would want to watch. But aside from that, it's not something that I would buy. It's because it's not in my wheelhouse, and especially now if it's like a non-limited version, it's got a standard edition out there down the road, and for like, because I want to have it in my collection, I want to do a video on it, do a review, because some of us here, we're on YouTube, we do things, we review things, but still my channel has been fairly positive, and good for you, man. I got them in the set, so I still got them, but I would, like, if you're a Rob Zombie fan, I would never take away your film just to puff up my collection, because that's not fair to you. And the thing is, like, I'm not like complaining about blind buying. Blind buying is one thing that we all do. That's fantastic. Hey there, George. Hope you're having a good birthday, man. But what I'm really talking about is people that like just go out of their way to just get the most limited, get the cheapest, knowingly, like pretty much knowingly that they're not going to like it. Like when you blind buy something, you're going most of the time you're going in with the faith, with the good faith that it's something that you're going to like, something that you're going to put in your collection, you're going to watch, you're going to enjoy, even if it takes a while to watch it. That's okay. But if you legit like see something that you do not like, and you buy it just because it's cheap or it's limited, and you think, well, I'll put it in my collection, it'll look nice there, or I'll flip it down the road, that's not so cool. I mean, I understand people that maybe buy a copy of something when they buy a lot of things to kind of like recoup. I understand that a bit. Like I've never done that myself, but I have friends that buy a lot of stuff. So that they'll every once in a while they'll pick up something to help recoup the costs of all the stuff that they bought before, and I understand that. It's just for me, like where the sore spot comes in, is for people that legitimately go to undercut other people, whether it be a scalper or whether it be somebody that is just buying for to fluff up their collection, or for, I guess, plumage, right? We got the word plumage. Is that good? Hey, and ready, welcome. Because that's the killer thing with me. I can actually say that I have a fairly decent sized collection. Not like massive as some people, like a few thousand. Um, but it's stuff that I like and that I watch. And when it came to the point of like there was some stuff that I didn't like, I got the vinegar subscription halfway subscription last year, and I couldn't like really afford it, but I did it. And it didn't work out so well for me because some of the titles turned out to be things that were not in my wheelhouse. So I, at the time, for me, I couldn't justify uh, what I was getting and the cost ratio. So it bothered me a bit. And as a YouTuber, like it really bothered me because I like the company. I want to support the company. I do agree with the subscription model. But I felt that I chose the subscription at the wrong time, so it did a disservice, not just to me, but the people on here that I talked this stuff about. So when it came up time to resubscribe, I thought I was moving, so that was an issue. But I said I'm not gonna resubscribe at this point until I know for sure. Now that being said, this year would have been fantastic. I probably would have loved like 95% of what's out there, especially since they've gotten into the MDM releases and like the upgrades, the 4Ks, all that. That's in my wheelhouse. Cardona was not my wheelhouse. You know, Blades was not my wheelhouse. Stuff like stuff along those lines. A projection, nice. Congratulations, Andrew. So, and I wanted to come on. I wanted to talk about. I want to get your thoughts on this because in the world of collecting, there's different like waters that you got to go around. I think every good one, so extra copies that were mistakenly sent. Well, that happens. I mean, that's happened to all of us. I had an extra copy sent to me. I think it was like, God, it was my second year in St. John's when I lived in St. John's in Newfoundland, and Errol sent me out 2 orders. So I contacted them and they said to keep the second order. So I didn't. So I already had it. So what I ended up doing was I gave some of them to my dad that I knew he was gonna like. Hey, morning, all of that. Thanks. And my hair's messy too. That's part of the reason for that. And I gave some to my cousin, and I think I gave one to my kids. So nothing like because I knew that they would like those films. Do I have Tremors 7? I don't actually. My best Tremors is still the first one though. I've seen it though. You got Bukoma. Yeah, you still have 2 of those. It's a good movie, man. Oh, by the way, if you're here and you have yet to hit that like button, shame on you, because it helps the algorithm and it helps the channel, and that way you get to know what I'm talking about, like movies or comics, or even just doing like hot takes, like I'm doing today. I'm wearing my Silent Madness shirt, which is actually 3D shirt. So for the 7 people that like this video, thank you so much. For the others that didn't, what the hell? Just gonna put it out there, what the hell? Purely the Northman 4K. That's what I wanna say. Dustin, welcome in. We have been talking about, I've been ranting about the idea of buying something not because you like it, not because you want it or need it, but just because. Thank you, Godzilla, man, you are the GOAT. I've been working on stuff. Some of my videos on Patreon take a little bit longer to come. I actually had one person, and this bothered me too. Actually, like when people like go off Patreon, like I understand like money issues and that happen, but yeah, I read the exit surveys, so just know that. Literally said wasn't the right amount of content on Patreon, and at that point, I had just spent 5 hours working on a video that's still not completed. and that was crushing. Like to have that like come in. So, oh, the hard work is not enough hard work. I should not sleep at all. Well, thank you very much for that on your way out. It's you know, finding that out is much appreciated. Please twist the knife a bit more. But actually, that's what I was doing before I made this video. Before I started to make this video, was I was actually doing some putting some stuff together, editing some stuff, all the fun stuff, all the all the stuff. Like if you ever guys ever do it, this is not the you know, if you're an editor, this man, this could be your wheelhouse. This could be fantastic for you. But if you're getting back into this like me, this editing process is it is not fun. It's not my favorite thing, but it's part of my job. 4 copies of Kioma. Well, at least they were like, you know, at least you got copies. Oh my God, Andrew, I understand. I mean, like I started out, I did journalism. Now, this is going to age me, but you guys know my age anyway. I started out doing journalism back in '89. So then, like editing wasn't like on a computer. No, a computer was you had a boot disk for your computer at that point. I want you to say now to some of you guys, but there was a editing room. So I remember doing a story for our news channel at college, and it had to be edited. So I literally had to take the, you know, the film and use the splicing machine to do it. Like it's so different now, but I think I'd rather use the splicing machine than I would use like one shot or open shot or something like that. But at this point right now, I can't afford editing software. Like, so I got to go with the freer stuff, and it does limit it a bit. So that's always fun. Anyway, let's get into that. Well, you don't want to hear my behind the scenes talk. No, that's been an issue with me, and so I went on to Facebook right away, and I was like, he said, "Well, I don't like this, but I bought it," and I was like, "Why did you buy it? Why did you legit buy something that you're not going to read, that you don't like, and you took it away when there was a limited amount available from somebody that would legit like it?" Hey, there's Swift. Welcome, man. And definitely thank you for those likes and the super chats. I got a donation last night. I want to thank for that. See, the thing is, with my better half not around, I don't see the donations that come in here because there's a link down below, a donation link, right? Or the normally it's not on live video, but not on this type of video because I'm doing it from my iPhone. So when those come in, those go through PayPal, and so there's no notification for it until afterwards. So I do apologize, but I want to thank the shout out and thanks for last night's donations. I did not get to see it till this morning because I didn't check my PayPal until I was working on some different stuff. Jekyll and Hyde of films. Collect more than I watch, get caught up in the sales, and FOMO. FOMO is something I got caught up in too. The doctor's house, enjoying the films, reading the inserts and extras. Halloween 1, 2, and 3 because they are the ones I want. Exactly. You're still humming and hawing, but getting the others to be complete. Now, there's the difference though. Like you enjoy the Halloween franchise in general. Like that's kind of your thing. We all get caught up in like sales and FOMO a bit, but there has to be a point. Hey, Ryan's Treasures, welcome, man. Do I have Bugs Bunny's anniversary collection? I don't yet. I mean, it's a pricey one. I have like the golden, the 6 volumes of the Golden Age, you know, Golden Collection from Looney Tunes, and I got 3 volumes of the Platinum ones, and I've got various like kind of DVD ones that I got, of stuff that I didn't have, but I still need to get the 80th anniversary collection. I still need to look into it to see how much it overlaps with the stuff that I already got. Me and my better half collected a lot of animation. Or my wife, I guess now it's official, right? But she always will focus on getting stuff we don't have ahead of time. Oh, scalpers are the bane, because here's the killer part at the end of it. Now, some people is shot and video horror labels releasing in new films on DVD. I'd say watch for the Severance sale because they're, you'll probably see Intervision, and they do like a lot of shot and video stuff. I'm of the mindset, and I know I'm going to be like alone on this, but I would prefer that a shot on video like release come out on DVD rather than Blu-ray, and I'll explain myself here. Because it's shot on video, and there's only so much that that you can be done with those elements. So DVD is kind of like the peak place to do shot on video. Nice. Tell your son he's awesome. And I always wear my Chucky. So yeah, I'm a good guy. I actually, I was gonna slip a bit. Got the movie to go with the hat. I actually love the Child's Play series and the TV shows coming out now. 13 shorts are on the platinum. 7 shorts. Oh, well, nice breakdown, man. 7 shorts that were on the golden. These and 40 shorts that never released on physical media. So I need to get to the run. Thank you so much, because that was something I would have had to research. And considering that half of my days nowadays are done in research, I'm doing I'm doing a video on all the Captain Marvels that have been over the years, like from Marvel to Genesville to like onwards, and that took forever. So, like every slide in that video had its own like research portion that I had to do. 7-film Chucky box set. That's one that goes on sale a lot in the United States, but rarely in Canada for some reason. Because I used to go to this site called Blu-ray.com, and I'd go there to find out what the latest sales were on Blu-rays. Because I stayed the hell away from the forums. And you guys know what. You know why. You've ever been to Blu-ray.com forum, you know exactly why. I would love to see the Tom and Jerry. The volume 1 is there in my collection, and I'm a huge Tom and Jerry fan. More so than my better half, actually. She's aunt on Tom and Jerry, but I love Tom and Jerry. But this volume 1 of the Golden Collection, volume 2 never came out. That's the killer part. If you collect animation, guys, one of the things you're going to notice is a lot of like things get dropped. If you're lucky, like the company will commit to it, and they'll put out the works. If you're not, then you'll have things like the Tom and Jerry set where they'll put out one volume and they'll just drop it like that. And you'll never hear from it again unless a movie comes out or something kind of just brings it to the forefront again. But when it comes to scalpers, or I haven't got the mouse one to text everyone, but we got that in our card actually for when we have the bones to pick it up. We're gonna pick it up. Strange thing, I was ranting for a change on a channel that is primarily a positive channel, and I get hate for being a positive channel, by the way, all the time actually. I was ranting about the fact that, for one, on scalpers and people that buy things that they don't want, it blows my mind. It truly blows my mind. Then they like, oh, I don't like this, but I'm gonna buy it because it's cheap. Well, it's especially if it's limited. If it's like something like the standard release, I'm gonna grab something and that fantastic. If this is a limited edition release, if this something has very few copies, or it's just like there's not a lot of them around anymore, and you just buy it just because, like, shag that. I'm sorry, man. That is not cool. That is not like, and we go through this all the time because something becomes popular. I am older, so I've gone through, and I've collected things for a long time, and I hate to say the word collect anymore. I do, because lately collecting does have kind of negative connotation to it, and it shouldn't. You should be able to collect things and enjoy them, and not have the negativity. But because of people like the ones that I'm talking about, the scalpers, or people that just grab things just to grab them away from other people, like Jay said, it's selfish is what it is. It's selfish and it's self-serving. it takes it away from guys like you guys out there that literally do this stuff because you because you love these films, because you love these books, because they're things that you want to have in your collection because you treasure them. When it's a time when there's streaming apps out there, and and there's all types of between like Disney Plus and Tubi and Shutter and all that, and you still like go out of your way to go out and buy stuff. And when there's things like Comixology or Marvel Unlimited or DC Infinite, and you still go out and you grab books like these, then that's a lot. You guys have passion for this. This is not, you don't take it. It's not the thing that you take lightly, and people come into it for the wrong reasons. And I've seen it before. I've seen it in the comic community. I was a huge comic. I'm still am huge comic fan. In the mid '90s, we had what was called a big boom in comics, the Image Revolution, where comics became huge. Everybody was buying. Literally had to stand in line. Now imagine this, like, especially for you younger people out there, you would stand in line to get a comic because they would sell out so quickly. And you would have the hope there would be like a second printing, but you'd want that first printing because you wanted the first comic. But eventually what happened are people came into it and flooded the market. People that said, okay, well, I'm going to buy this because in 5 or 10 years, or maybe next week while the iron's hot, I'm going to resell it and make 5 times the profit, or 10 times. I'm going to make college money on this. And when they realize that when you overinflate a market, then more tends to be made, thereby decreasing the value of the ones that are made. Death of Superman, James, is a perfect example of that. Then you can go out and buy it all you want, but once people start to realize they're not going to make a lot of money on it, they tend to, because they don't care about the things like you do. They don't care about the movies. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about the comics, about the books. Sports card market, yeah, and sports card market's death. The death of the sports card market is what brought on the comic market. It was like usually it's the baseball collecting. Remember Flair and Ultra and all those like companies. So when the sports card market like dried out because of this, they went on to comics, and now there are people that are out there. Yeah, so but even non-collectors are buying for resale. And now like physical media, like physical like objects, like everything is now everything's in the cloud right now. So stuff like this becomes more valuable to people that actually want to buy this stuff. But here's where it comes in again. But then you get people that don't care about what they're getting, that don't give a damn. Hey there, Mike, welcome, man. So what they're doing is they're taking up stuff that they're hoping is going to rise in cost. And you'll have people like talking on threads, on forums and stuff like that, and on Facebook pages and groups, and they'll say, well, I think Thriller, oh, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I think I think Thriller is going to be up at $200, $400, $600, but to sell it for down the road. Well, Thriller had 10,000 copies. 10,000 copies is a large amount for a for something that came out. And I will put it out there right now. I like the movie Thriller, and they call her One Eye, but it's not going to be something that is going to be for everybody. So people, hey Maddie, welcome, man. Yeah, I'm stoked about it. I finally got it. I just need volume 2. Exactly. The value of a release, Cinematic Collector, should be on the value that it has for you, and not a monetary value. So I don't come on here and show you a movie that I got or a CD or a comic and say, well, this will be worth this much money, because I would be bullshitting you at that point. Because one, I'm not clairvoyant. I cannot tell the future. Two, I've been through this whole rigmarole a few times before, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but during the card collecting thing, I did some of that card collecting stuff where I sold stuff back during the height of it, because stuff that like sports cards that I wasn't interested in, and I felt bad about that. It actually made me feel a little dirty. I was young. I was, no excuse, but I was in college, and I needed party money. But I couldn't do it. I said, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll get a, I'll get a second job, but I won't go through that again. And people say here, like too, would you sell your movies at, if there was an emergency or a tragedy in my family, then nothing supersedes like that. Nothing supersedes family. Uh, but uh, but just to sell myself for financial for no just because, no, like there's two movies that are probably going to go to my collection, and you guys know what they are. They're the Cardona collection, and they are the Ebola Strom, because I legitimately will probably never watch either one of those again, because they're not for me. Now that being said, they are for somebody. Uh, it's just not my style of film, and that's okay. Everybody has their own type of film that they like, and everything that they love. So that will eventually go to my collection and go to somebody else that loves it. Normally, when I give it to my dad or to my kids, but I know they're not going to be that into it. So I don't know. Maybe my dad. If I find out my dad's into Cardona, because he's more open for some of those things, I'll give it to him. But yeah, needless to say, do I sell on eBay? Nope. I did sell some stuff on eBay early on, not really movies or stuff like that. Except I remember when I had, me and my better half had had an eBay account once, and we had a couple where we end up with some extra film, some stuff that I never was watching. So I sold some of it. Hey there, Senator Arcadia, welcome. And I started to get this one person that would say, "Oh, I didn't get it. I'm setting up a thing with eBay. I didn't get it," and I knew he got it, but we just refunded him the money. And I said, "No, shag it." I'm not an eBay seller. There's nothing against people that legitimately do that for a reason. Like, say, for instance, you've got a large amount of movies and you realize you don't have enough space, so you're streaming down your collection. You're going minimalist. I'm nothing against that. I'm not saying anything at all against that. I'm just saying, if you're going out and you're just getting something for value alone, or just to puff up what's there. I have 44 omnibuses in my collection. Every single one of those are things that I want to watch, want to read, that resonates with me. Nothing is there because it's something that just fills a space. I don't it's not me. It's and it's some people I know, and so there's certain people are going to come on, they're going to watch this video, and they're not going to take the right way, or maybe they're going to be ones that I'm saying this about, and they're going to be pissed. But I'm sorry. I am here for the passion of this. This is my full-time gig right now, and so obviously it takes on a whole new vantage point for me when I'm doing these videos. But it's important to not lose the heart of this, and that is, as a collector, as a fan, to really just understand that there's certain people out there that just aren't right. Physical media is to be collected, yes, and lovingly worn over time. Yeah, that is true. I like that. Actually, I've had a couple of horrible experiences on eBay. They're very reticent to enforce terms of service. This involves payment of big companies. Actually, not true. I find that for in eBay, and for me anyway, it's in Arcadia, that it's all on the seller. That's why I would never do it again. see, I've got, like I said, I have 2 movies, and I'm not sure I'm going to sell them or give them to my family, but I I don't want to go for the eBay route of it, and I got like an Amazon affiliate store where I kind of recommend things, but not sell things. Now there's people make like money out of like doing this stuff, video games and all that type of stuff, and you see them on. Do you have the YouTube channels that are really popular? But I think I've said really what I wanted to say on the topic per se, to just to get it out there, to talk about it, because it bothered me that there'd be people out there that like that, and it sticks with me. Like I don't like this, but I'm going to buy it anyway. And that for me, that's a fuck off moment for me. Uh, I apologize for the language, but it is at that point. Hey Matthew, welcome, man. Like, don't do that to people. Don't screw people over like that. You know, you're always gonna like blind buy something or find something new, and it's gonna be your next favorite thing, which is fantastic. Well, at the one thing to take away from this video is I'm not talking about blind buying. I'm not talking about people that let go of things because there's not enough space or because they just want to go minimalist. That's completely understandable. But when you're legit going out and grabbing things that you know there's minimal copies of, just because that you know you don't like, that you know you're never going to watch, that you know you're never going to read, that you know that you don't even have an interest in, but look how shiny and cool this looks on my shelf. That's where my issue is. Because for me, for this channel, and for the people that have been watching this channel over the last 10 years or recently found it, here's the one thing that I want to really stress, is this channel is about the passion of films. It's about the passion of comics, the passion of music. The cult of cinema, because you know, like in a cult, it's something that you're really passionate about, you really like, you feel strongly about. And that's what this channel is about. That's what I want to reinforce on this channel, and hopefully like learn stuff from you guys as I'm going through, and have you guys hopefully learn stuff and find stuff out from me and from other people that are chatting on here. Find your next favorite movie, your next favorite book, your next favorite CD, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. We don't do this because it's something that's easy to do. We don't do it because it is cheap. We don't do this because it is fairly laid back. No, it can be stressful. It can be time consuming. It can be costly. So the only real reason to do something like this is because you enjoy it, because it's something that you love. And that, my friends, is where I want to leave off with today. So go out and get and blind buy and get the things that you want to get. But if it's something that you know that you're not going to like, it's something that you know that you've seen before. It's a bit stressful. I didn't buy this summer on either, Maddie. Dustin, thankfully, I got the 3 toes I wanted from Dustin, and after that, I was like, I'm good. How many modern films I own that came out in the last 10 years? A lot of this, so we have big superhero people here. So a lot of the superhero stuff, and some of the action stuff, because my better half's a huge action fan. So we'll watch a lot of that. And anything that's got fantasy, like Lord of the Rings or any of that type, then that's more the modern stuff that we buy. For me, though, a lot of the stuff that I buy is older stuff, just because I grew up with it. And I watched a lot of films. I was constantly going to the video store when I was younger and renting things. And I did video last night, and I said, like, well, when I was younger, and I wanted to clarify this. I lived in a small area. We got into a lot of fights and stuff like that. That happened, but I was a scrawny little kid, so I was a run. When I say I got into a lot of fights, I mean got my ass kicked a lot of times. Just so you don't get the wrong idea there. So I spent a lot of my time reading and a lot of my time watching films when I was growing up. So for me, when I started collecting, like legitimately started to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to grab. This is the stuff that I want. Then I wanted to have that feel of those old school like stores that I would go into and rent like the stuff. And I wasn't always going to that new release section to rent movies. I was going to the horror section. I was going to the fantasy section. I was trying to sneak in to behind that curtain. For me personally, when I decided to collect, I said, this is what I want. It's not that something that everybody's going to love. It's not something that people are going to come in your house and say, well, thank God you've got those four taboo films in your collection or it wouldn't be complete. But it was things that meant something to me. And it's okay to have some of those bigger. I got a couple of those bigger collection things, but those, when I have a bigger, like a set or something like that, it's because I really like that. Before J.K. Rowling turned out to be a trash human being, my better half got the big J.K. Rowling, like the big Harry Potter set, because she loves Harry Potter. And, uh, and we're still glad to have that set in our collection. We would never buy it now because we don't want to give her any money. But, but, um, that's something that's in our collection because it meant a lot to us. When my youngest was starting to get into reading, my cousin, actually, my cousin Roger, who's here right now actually, bought for Christmas one year the very first Harry Potter book, and I would sit down every night, and it was a bonding moment. It was like, because I was a big reader and I wanted to pass it on to my children, and sit by Mimi, and I would read a chapter, and I'd stop no matter how much I wanted to. I'd stop at the end of the chapter, and then I'd say, okay, go to sleep. I'll read you the next chapter the next night, and then eventually, uh, what would happen is I'd end up reading ahead. I'd have to go back and read it over again because I would get so interested in what was happening. Flea market finds. Aren't there so many good things to find through flea market sale? Like I do, like go to crate digger sales where things are like $1 each, and even then I buy, like I look around and I don't just buy everything, but I'll pick up stuff that I know that I want in my collection, because when you get to a certain point, I find too, you you really got to think about what's going in there. Uh, like, do you really want to watch this? Is it something that you really want? Is this something that's just gonna collect dust? Because you own something that's just collecting dust. Or from newer movies to buying older movies. Yeah, for us too. What we did for about a year or so is we when we went 4K, that's actually why I'm not buying the Wizarding World game too, and it does sadden me. It's a shame that we started to buy newer movies that were coming out. And the reasoning behind that was these were movies we wanted to see in the theater, but we could buy them on 4K for cheaper than we could go to the theater. And we had a fairly big, not a big TV. At the time, it like around 55 inches, so it's an okay size for TV. We got a 65 now. I'd like to go a little bit bigger, but you know, it's an okay TV size for our house and our setup. Um, but we'd get films that we knew we wanted to watch in theater, but we just didn't have the time or the money, or you know, theaters were smaller here, so we'd get like we wait till it came out on 4K and we watch it, and so far been pretty much our winners. I even like the Tom. I'm gonna say I even dug the Tom Cruise, like not great movie, but the Mummy movie that he did. I'll watch that again. Like I won't watch Mummy 3 again, but I will watch the Tom Cruise Mummy again. And not that it's a good movie. It's just it was enjoyable for me for what it was. See, I got trash taste sometimes. That just tells you. Never find anything at flea markets. It's harder nowadays. Like back in the day, I actually worked a flea market for a few years with my dad, and at that point, those weren't movies that were coming out of my own collection. Basically, we had bought from like a video store that had closed down. Yeah, I think we all want the Dark Universe to happen, and I would still like it to happen, actually. Ever been to the Walt Disney family? Oh, I haven't been to the United States since I've been a kid. When I lived in Ontario for a short period of time when I was younger, we used to go to Maine and areas like that. But unlike my better half, who spent most of her life traveling around, so she's been to pretty much, she's been to Paris, she's been to the U.S., she's been to Egypt, places like that. My travel has been limited to like just a few places. I've been to London, I've been to United States a few times. Of course, I've been to Morocco, obviously. But charity shops are fantastic. I love that you call them charity shops because it's so cool. That's like, I prefer the word takeaway, by the way, to takeout. And I use takeaway. I don't use takeout. Just because it just sounds right to me. I remember going into was it KFC in London, and you could get like corn on the cob there, like little corn on the cob, and I was like blown away because we couldn't get that here in Canada. And oh God, I love the UK. It's one of my favorite places. Anyway, with that being said, I've rambled on too much for you guys, so I do apologize. But thank you so much for coming in. I want to thank you for. Want to thank my newest patron, right there. So because you guys, you keep the lights on. Thank you for the super chats today. I really appreciate it. You have no idea what that means to the channel and what it'll mean when AdSense time comes up. I actually broke down with my cousin. Actually, not broke down and cried, but broke down how it works and how much gets taken out. But I'm glad that you caught a live chat. Hopefully, it'll be less of a kind of off the cuff one next time around. But if you haven't checked it out, I did one with Michael Keane last night. A very cool guy. Talk about a nice laid back dude, and we talked for a while, definitely. But we had a fun time with the video last night. So check that out if you haven't checked that out. And guys, I will see you soon right here in the Call to Cinema. I got some filming and some editing work to do, so